to how we should go forward in the coming years, as well as how we can do better to support the business community to prosper in Hong Kong and also to serve our people better. Taking this opportunity, perhaps, if I may spend a couple of minutes to bring you up to date about our economic situation now, and then the rest of the presentation will focus on the directions forward. Our economic situation, as you well know, last year GDP growth by about 3.5%, of which merchandise export remained one of the key drivers, went up by about 12%. Service export, with increase in tourist arrival to close to 50 million and a vibrant stock market, service export also doing quite well, went up by about 6.3%. Investment by the business community in terms of fixed assets, machinery, etc., went up by 4.3%. Of the key components of the GDP, the relatively weaker link, as you well know, retail, F&B, basically private consumption, but still last year went up by about 1.7%. And if we take a closer look, in recent months, indeed, the retail sector is slightly coming back. The same applies to F&B. The figures coming in for the past 3 months indicating this stabilizing and slowly going up trend. Unemployment rate is low, at the moment about 1.1% for the entire year. 1.1% is the inflation rate. The unemployment rate is about 3.8%, around that. The more, if I may use that word, acute sector was retail, F&B, and to a certain extent construction. But with the residential property market stabilizing and start increasing, we observe that developers' interest in reviving their construction works are pretty obvious. So the construction sector will see more clear improvement in the coming months. F&B also coming back. So the unemployment situation at the moment, I would say at this level, leveling off. And we are trying to use different upskill training programs to help our people to transition to the new economy, if I may use that word. Inflation, as I mentioned, remain very low. Visitors' arrival is increasing. Last year increased by about 12%, and in particular, people from Europe, from outside of the mainland, increased markedly. This is a good trend. If you have been to the Leaf Golf in recent days, you will feel the vibrancy and the vitality, and also the very positive mood of people coming in to join that program. Asset market, I mentioned about the residential market. The office sector still oversupply situation. We have stopped selling commercial land since 2024. This year, we also pledged not to put up additional commercial sites for sale. So in a way, the market got the signal that the government is well aware of the situation. We won't overflood the market with excessive supply, but at the same time roll out different measures like more flexible use of suitable office locations, say for example for student dormitory, to allow better utilization of this stock. And our observation is that actually office sector, the rental downward pressure is leveling off, and in particularly in core central, in Causeway Bay, strong pickup in terms of institutions, particularly financial institutions, coming in to rent additional space, particularly those in the asset and wealth management sector and the digital assets sector. So office sector is like that. Commercial space in the shop in Jinzhazui and in other prime commercial area, also the situation is improving with the landlords coming to terms with reduced rental so as to encourage occupancy. We did have implement some facilitative measures. Through the Hong Kong MA, we work with the banks to take a more accommodative attitude towards the different owners, landlords. In particular, when their collaterals on revaluation came down, this won't easily trigger the calling repayment of loan. So that on that front, we also see the situation is under control. So this is a snapshot about the current economic situation. Over the past few years, if I may take this opportunity to update you as well, that is on attracting businesses and talent to Hong Kong. The OASIS, Office for Attracting Strategic Enterprises, so far since the end of 2022, recruited about slightly over 100 such companies. Altogether, they invest in Hong Kong in a couple of years would be amounting to about 60 billion, creating over 22,000 quality jobs. At the same time, Invest Hong Kong each year attracted about 450 to 500 companies, also bringing in another 60 billion investment, and also creating jobs. Hong Kong IC, Hong Kong Investment Company, so far supported about 110 projects. 10 of them got listed already, another 20 queuing up for listing. Very vibrant, our stock market at the moment. The pipeline queuing up for listing, very strong. At the moment, it's over 400 such companies. But imagine last year, we were global #1 in terms of IPO. We raised about 280 billion. The number of companies listed was only 119. So you can tell how strong the pipeline is. We want to grasp this opportunity and working with the relevant central authorities, try to expedite this so that these companies can take advantage of the current pretty strong and positive mood about our capital markets. In terms of talent, so far we have received about 590,000 applications. We approved 410,000 of them. About 270,000 already arrive in Hong Kong. So consider this not just as additional talent to support our economic development. I think this will in due time translate into purchasing power in terms of our residential property market as well. So that is the economic snapshot. How about the future? This is more important, yeah. We are positive, cautiously optimistic. Cautious because of the geopolitical challenges. This is going to be there. We have to manage that. We have to find a way to navigate this complicated situation. It presents both challenges and opportunities. In terms of opportunities, say, for example, Hong Kong's capital market will become even more attractive for mainland companies going global, for companies in the Middle East and ASEAN seeking for listing. In terms of IFC status, also we have observed increasing interest from the Middle East and ASEAN to have their assets, certain part of their assets, to allocate to Hong Kong. Previously, many of these investors, particularly, for example, sovereign funds or long-term funds, they tend to invest in the US and Europe more. Now, out of the need for diversification and also coupled with their very positive assessment about the economic progress on the mainland, we have observed increasing flow from that part of the world coming to Hong Kong. This is important to us for our capital market and also for our asset and wealth management sector, as well as high value, for example, family offices. In terms of family offices, at the moment is above over 3,300. If we are counting those managing on a single family office basis, over 50 million in assets. So an increase by about 25% since the last count in the late 2023. So these are positive developments in terms of financial market. In the budget, after giving a very brief economic snapshot, I proceed to talk about the 15 five-year plan. This is very important for the country. Of course, the 2 sessions are going on the mainland. I think you must have heard a lot about them from SCMP. For us, also very important, because for Hong Kong's economic future, on the one hand, under the one country, 2 systems arrangement, we have to play to our strength in terms of connectivity with the international community, in terms of reinforcing and enhancing the connectivity, the business relationship and investment with the developed market like the US and Europe. But at the same time, we need to open up new markets in terms of new capital sources, new companies coming to this part of the world. So on the country's development, our positioning is to play to our strength, but at the same time, leverage on the development of the mainland to maximize our opportunities. And by, on the one hand, integrating with their national development plan, we are allied with them. That will give us not just the very strong hinterland, but also the economic power to prosper. For example, in the technology area, AI plus. But at the same time, we also need to help the mainland companies going global. So our strategy is to integrate ourselves with the mainland in terms of economic development direction. But to play to our advantage, I would argue perhaps 2 major engines. One is AI plus, the other is finance plus. AI plus, AI globally transforming everything. You have no choice, but not just to embrace it, but to make good use of it so that you will remain competitive. And in the process, you will be able to innovate yourself in terms of your business model, in terms of your products. At the same time, AI also brings challenges. Yeah, that is one. That is why in the budget we talk about AI for the people. Roll out initiatives, try to equip our people not just in the schools, but also in the workplaces. AI plus. And this is national strategy. When you read the 15 five-year plan, even when you read the recommendation last October, very clear, this point. But for us, apart from AI plus, we are IFC. We should leverage on our financial services strength to do that. So I would argue finance plus. Using finance, full funding options, the size of our financial sector, the convergence of the international financial institutions and the best finance talent to help us use finance to empower the development of the technology sector, and you use finance to empower the transformation of our different industry and sector when they adopt AI. Help them scale up as well. So it is AI plus and finance plus. On this, in terms of technological development using Northern and Metropolis as the major area to accommodate the tech enterprises that we attract to Hong Kong, and to put them together to form a cluster to help us not just invest in innovation and technologies research and translational application, but scale it up. More tech enterprises form the industry base so that we have the critical mass, on the one hand, to continue to support our innovation in innovation and technology, and on the other hand, create opportunities for our people, job opportunities, GDPs, things like that. And on this, perhaps, if I may sidetrack a little bit to talk about AI Plus and the revolution of AI agent. I don't know, let me do a very quick survey here by show of hand, if I may. How many of you have used OpenClaw? Not too many, huh? Yeah. Well, this is a very interesting AI agent revolution. Firstly, what is OpenClaw? Well, somebody said that this is a breakthrough from dialogue to execution. So traditionally, the AI agent, you ask questions, they give you an answer, right? But now, you give instruction, they will execute for you. Isn't it amazing? They will do everything for you. It's basically an open source project that took tech community by storm within months. I think it was in the public domain last November, so only a few months. And it features a lobster mascot as a trademark. But it signifies a transformation from passive response to active executions. So technically, OpenClaw is a local-first AI agent framework, like a digital employee residing in your computer, in your device. It can read and write documents, operate your browsers, manage your schedule, and with your authorization, run autonomously around the clock without toilet break. Isn't it great? So it can compile financial reports, monitor market data, send messages across different platforms like WhatsApp or WeChat, and execute coded actions. So through every day, such as WhatsApp or Telegram, it can collaborate seamlessly with humans, turning AI from a consultant into an executor. Well, as I mentioned, since its launch in November 2025, OpenClaw's momentum has been extraordinary and has generated hundreds of thousands of GitHub stars and inspired an exposition of AI agent application. So I leave the details for you to find out. But if I may point out, there are 4 structural shifts unfolding, taking hints from this development. One is a shift in technological paradigm from cloud concentration to local autonomy. Instead of putting everything in the cloud, now it is localized in your device. Of course, cybersecurity, privacy is something that you need to take care of. But let's leave that aside. This is something we have to address. But at the same time, really take a hard look of what it can offer. The second shift is a transformation in economic model, the scaling up of personal productivity. Imagine you do not need a secretary, just a device can do all the bookings, execute all your instructions without the need of giving them very detailed instruction. They can anticipate, and they continue to learn. When you use them more often, they become even more smarter. So this is something very interesting. Looks like you have a digital team. With this, it redefines cost structure dramatically. And it is open source, enable a lot of different innovations to be developed on their technology. So more and more innovative solutions and products will emerge in the coming months and years. And the entry barrier is indeed low. When you contrast DeepSeek with their counterparts in the US, one defining difference is one is very proprietary, the other is open source. Whoever want to use it, they can use it. And the collective wisdom, and with the user case scenario on the mainnet, that huge, sky is the limit in terms of possible innovations. The third point I'd like to point out about the open core phenomenon is a reconfiguration of production relationships. The opportunities would not be linear. It would be a non-linear opportunities, indeed, in the new era of technological innovation. And finally, in terms of AI agent revolution, more to come, and we should keep our eyes wide open and take a very open attitude to this different kind of innovations so that we can really be benefiting from it. And on that, what we have been doing in the Hong Kong SAR government, as outlined in the budget, is that technology and innovation would be the driving force for our economic development in the coming decade, in addition to trade and finance. And it offers diversified opportunities. The application scenario are huge. We must get ourselves prepared. And in that context, we need to raise the AI awareness and capabilities among our people through different training programs. And we have allocated additional resources for that purposes. And I would, ladies and gentlemen, appeal to you for your support. In your respective organizations, please do encourage your colleagues and support your colleagues in this transition so that people will be moving with times without fear, but with the conviction and confidence that the better is yet to come. So perhaps I should stop here, and we'll be pleased to take your questions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Financial Secretary, for your updates and insights. If we could ask you to please find your seats, we'll get a chance for the audience to ask you questions soon. So I know my colleagues are certainly eager to dive into everything you just said and much more, but before I invite them to the stage, I just want to remind everyone of the event QR code. Again, that can be found on the back of your name badge. That gives you the opportunity to virtually ask our panelists questions. Again, the way that works is just scan into the QR code, find the button labeled Ask the Panelists, click into that button, and you can then submit your question from there. Your questions will be sent directly to our session moderators, who will be reserving some time at the end of the session for your questions. Now, I'm sure all